Hi, it's Holly, and I'm back with another video in my Book of Memories series. So I started this last month, was it? I don't know. I did this a little while ago. I talked about The Hobbit, and basically this is a series of videos where I kind of want to talk about books that I have strong feelings or memories about, basically, and not necessarily a review, but just how they made me feel and think or affected me particularly. And today I want to do a school book edition, and by that I mean 2 books I had to read in school. These are both books I read in college. I'm going to talk about 2 books today. I actually had other books that affected me a lot too, so maybe there'll be like a part 2 version of this. But for now, just these 2. I just hit myself in the face. But for now, just these 2 books. So we'll start with one I read first, and that is Under a Cruel Star by Hedda Margolis Cavalli. And gosh, so this is a memoir, and I had to read this in a class I took called 20th Century Europe, and basically this takes place in what was then Czechoslovakia during World War II and the years after that. It's told this woman, it's her story about her life dealing with like the war and the Nazis and everything afterwards, and it's her life with her husband and her son, and her husband killed, not like he's convicted, I think it's of like being a spy, yeah, and so he's executed for that, and it's just her dealing with all of these things. Basically, for me, a little backstory. I'm sure most people, at least here in the US, have this. In history class growing up, like every year basically, you talk about the Holocaust. And in a way that's a bad thing, because in my experience it distances you from it, and you start to just think of it as facts and figures, and you don't think about the true tragedy of it. And the first time I was ever, like, my mindset changed on it was when I watched Schindler's List in high school, and it just opened my eyes, I think, seeing it visually instead of as like a textbook. Or I've read Anne Frank's diary like a gajillion times or something like that. Just opened my eyes, and then this did the same thing. This was my sophomore year of college. This just opened my eyes to a whole different story and a whole different world, because it's not, you know, a concentration camp story, which there's nothing wrong with that. You know, this isn't Anne Frank's diary, this isn't Night by Elie Wiesel, it's something different. And I think the reason it affected me so strongly is her voice as a human being just attached to me. And I think a big part of that is woven through this story is her relationship with her husband, and how they met and how they grew and how they struggled through everything. And as a romance reader, I think I attached to that familiar thing, and as I was reading it, I wanted it to be fiction, and I wanted there to be a happy ending, and it devastates me that there isn't. Such a huge impact on me, that's why I didn't return it, but I feel like I can never read it again at the same time. Like, it was too much for me. Her story touched me in such a beautiful way, and if you're looking for something that's from like this time period, like this says, it says 1941 to 1968, and you can, I'm not sure if this is something you can just like buy, I'm sure you can, highly recommend it. I really enjoyed it. It's like destroyed by notes, and pretty sure it made me cry. Moving on to slightly lighter fare, I have 1776 by David McCullough, and my senior year I took a class on the American Revolution, and that's what I had to read this book for. And I know he's written other books, like he has one on John Adams, is that right? I think so. That became like a TV show or a miniseries or something. He's a pretty well-known, like, popular historian, I feel like. And what's great about this book is it's told in such an interesting, it's got dust on it. It's told in such an interesting way where it almost feels like a narrative instead of a history book, which is what makes it so approachable. And I'm definitely interested in checking out his other books because of this. And Before I took this class, I really had no interest in American history. I kind of just took the class because I needed a class at that level. It was like the highest level, basically. Really liked the professor, so I figured it'd be worth it. And a combination of that class and this book really opened my eyes to how interesting American history can be, and how you can tell history in a different way. And this is something I definitely would like to reread again at some point. And this is also just full of notes and everything. This whole chunk is like source material, like all his footnotes or endnotes and where he got things. I mean, this is like not just, I mean, he's a real historian, and it's kind of a good primer in a way. Like, it goes into detail about things, but it's a good introduction to history. Like I said, it kind of reads like a narrative, so it's not dry and boring. So those are my thoughts on the school books. Like I said, there might be a school books part 2. There's at least one book I think I would want to talk about. It's kind of in the same vein as the Under a Cruel Star, but not like World War II set, but something that opened my eyes, and that's fiction. So maybe I will do a fiction version of this. If you have anything that you want to talk about, or if you've read either of these books, then let me know. If you've read anything else by David McCullough, let me know what I should check out, because I'm not really sure, because like I said, American history isn't really my thing, and that seems to be what he writes primarily about. I'd love to give something a chance. So thank you for watching. Bye!